Nobody knows where I'm at, and I'm gonna die out here from heat exhaustion in the middle of this junkyard in Iraq.
At the time, my first deployment, I was living in what was the officers' club for the Iraqi army. And it's Saddam Hussein's sons, Uday and Qusay, used to both frequent the place. But in the 90s, you know, he had crossed some guy, like kidnapped his wife or something terrible. These were both very terrible people. The guy, like a guy had come to him for revenge, shot him in the back, and it like messed up his leg, and he was like one of his legs was partially paralyzed or something goofy like that. So if you were if you were in a building with an elevator, it means Uday or Qusay used to be there. Otherwise there was like not a lot of elevators, everybody just took the stairs, and it had probably like 6 sets of stairs that were like staggered back and forth. But I would just run repeats on the stairs, up and down the stairs, over and over and over again.
If anyone has been to Camp Taji, there is an enormous, what we call boneyard, which is just acres and acres of junk equipment. In the morning, I ran to the firing point, which was a couple miles, and I forget, we had some kind of a problem when I was there, and I got stuck there for an hour or so later, and this is in the middle of the summer, probably August. And very, very, very hot. And I didn't have any water with me. And I started running back, and I quickly realized that I was not in a good spot because it was so hot and so dusty. So I decided that I was going to cut through the junkyard because I needed to get back fast because it was like so hot. Became like pretty desperate, and I was running around looking for any bit of shade, and I actually found an old M113, which is a armored personnel carrier, and I just like ducked inside of it. And I had this brief moment when I was sitting in the back of this thing thinking, this is probably the stupidest thing I've ever done because nobody knows where I'm at, and I'm gonna die out here from heat exhaustion in the middle of this junkyard in Iraq, and no one's ever gonna find me.
The 82nd is known as the most in shape alcoholics in the world. So we did live that, obviously not overseas. So we were all just machines, and we didn't know any different. So I don't remember ever working out. I only weighed probably 160 pounds back then, and almost my body weight in weight that we would carry.
Physical fitness, and specifically just having endurance, became like wildly important. So I was constantly had a ruck on my back and constantly was trying to run long distances. The demand was high. Everybody there was on that. Everybody was physically fit. Everybody was committed to the craft. And if you weren't physically fit, it was immediately apparent, and it was a problem.